Hello. So the first thing we're going to do today is go through how the ear uh, transduces sound into actual sensors through the brain and nerve impulses. So first we're going to go over structures of the ear. To start off with, we have the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. Parts of the outer ear would be the external acoustic meatus, the auricle and the temporal bone. The middle ear would be the tympanic membrane, also known as the eardrum, the incus, the malleus. The inner ear would consist of the Eustachian tube, the cochlea, auditory nerve, and the stapes. So how this, we're going to first go over a general pathway in terms of vibrations coming through the ear towards the brain. So a sound will be made, an outside source will make a sound. Vibrations will travel through the outer ear, which actually collects the vibrations. The middle ear will then receive those vibrations as pressure impulses or pressure signals through the tympanic membrane, also known as the eardrum. That then leads to the cochlea, which has hairs in the cochlea or inside the cochlea as structures. And those hairs receive the pressure signals from the tympanic membrane, also known as the eardrum, and change those signals into electrical impulses, which are then sent to the brain for auditory sensing, which then makes sounds more clear and which you can actually hear. So that will be the structure and the function of how wavelengths come in through the outer ear, through the middle ear, to the inner ear, to the brain, and actually form a sound which is audible to us.
Hello, my name is Jalen Jones, and my part was receptors, type of signals, and the location of the brain involved in hearing. And what happens is when we hear a sound, it travels from the outer to the middle to the inner to get to the cochlear, and that is the receptor involved in hearing. And what happens is it's actually a bony structure, and when we hear a sound, like it kind of vibrates the bone. And when enough vibration of the bone occurs, the cochlear contains two fluids, and it releases a fluid that stimulates the organ of corti, which is located within the cochlear. And when it releases that fluid, the organ of corti, those hairs are stimulated, and those are transferred and transformed into nerve impulses, which then go to the temporal lobe and to us. Make a sound. So that's basically how we hear, from receptor signals to what part of the brain.
I'm Cheyenne Brown. Today I'll be talking about ion permeability, chemical and electrical synapses, and action potentials. In a cell, there's an electrical potential difference between the inside and the outside surrounding extracellular fluid of the cell. This is important. This is also known as membrane potential, which is important for muscle and nerve cells because they transmit and code information. Two factors are important for ions to move from membrane to membrane, and they are the concentration and gradient and the electrical potential difference. And chemical synapse is a specialized cell to cell junction where a nerve impulse is transmitted in one direction from one neuron to neuron, or from one non-neuron to a neuron in one direction. And the electrical synapse happens between two neurons through a gap junction, and it is used for a fast response, such as reflex and in the heart. Action potential is part of a process that initiates the firing of neurons. This is when part of the neuron membrane opens up to allow positively charged ions into the cell and for negative charged ions out of the cell. This process occurs in a rapid increase of positive charged ions And this electrical impulses is carried down the nerve through action potential.